It started out as a group of hopefuls at a 2-day boot camp, but in the end, only 20 were chosen for the chance of a lifetime. A 4x4 adventure in the Namibian desert as part of the 2014 Ford Ranger Odyssey. That group comprised 8 South Africans, 1 Angolan and 1 Mozambican, and a convoy of specially kitted Ford Rangers. But the Odyssey is about more than just getting your hands dirty.
Odyssey started out as getting people familiar with Ford Ranger, and the best way to do that and prove that these trucks really are built Ford tough is actually to get them into Africa and really experience what Africa is all about.
The event formally kicked off in Kamanjab, 500 kilometers north of Windhoek, from where the Odyssey caravan set off for 12 days in what is arguably some of the toughest terrain Africa has to offer. Making the task even more difficult was the fact that the teams weren't friends or family. They were randomly paired contestants who would have to work together to overcome the challenges that lay ahead. Day 2 saw the teams heading north to Apuo. It was the last bit of tar they would see for the next 10 days. For the drivers, it was a test of physical endurance and mental strength, while the vehicles had to endure searing heat and lots of fine dust.
With us driving through all the gravel, we pick up a lot of dust, and with that dust, it just reduces your fuel consumption. By us doing this, we get about a 7% gain in fuel consumption, saves quite a bit of fuel.
One man had been preparing a long time for this event.
Back in 1984, I was watching a Camel Trophy expedition, saw the guys putting their cars on the airplane, flying it off to a foreign country to engage in an adventure of a lifetime. I decided there at that stage that one day I was going to do the same. As I got involved with Ford Motor Company, I started to speak to them or approach them on the concept of the Ranger Odyssey because they share the same passion for adventure and the outdoor lifestyle, and Ford committed to it, and here we are today.
The team tasks didn't just revolve around driving ability. Along the way, they were thrust into a punishing tug-of-war elimination challenge held in 35-degree heat. The tough test of physical stamina and mental endurance came down to the brutal final round.
Bring it on!
Strength, willpower and an ability to sustain their efforts for an impressive 22 minutes meant that the tug-of-war was eventually won by Team 7's Johan Retters and Owen de Waal. Over the next 2 days, the convoy followed the crocodile-infested Kunene River that forms the natural border between Namibia and Angola.
We literally drove for 7 hours each through just bumps, humps and rocks. That's all we saw. Ditches, dips, you name it, we did it. It was hectic.
In the end, the increasingly rugged and challenging terrain meant the 14-vehicle convoy took a full 12 hours to cover just 90 kilometers en route to the Epupa Falls, but it proved just how capable the Ford Rangers are in these tough conditions. The highlight of the Odyssey was also its most difficult route, the notorious Van Zyls Pass. Featuring sheer cliff faces and steep drop-offs, massive boulders and loose rocks, the white-knuckle challenge was as extreme as they come, and it gave the Rangers a chance to gain the respect of every person on the Odyssey.
It's a hell of a difficult start to the pass. We just seen the first obstacle, and the first vehicle completed the obstacle safely. The vehicle was amazing down the obstacle. Let's hope the rest of the convoy can follow a similar suit.
Even though the pace was slow and steady, it certainly got the adrenaline pumping.
Really exciting. This is what it's all built up to, and this is what, fantastic day. I'm just excited I could get a little jiggle and dance, a little, come on, let's do this.
In the end, each team and every vehicle negotiated the pass successfully, although not every Ranger made it out completely unscathed, as can be seen on the passenger door of this vehicle. The team celebrated the feat by mounting a plaque at the bottom of the pass featuring the names of all the contestants and crew. It's fair to say that such an epic adventure is a prize in itself, but ultimately only one team can win the Ford Ranger Odyssey, and we're about to find out who that is. Back in South Africa, the teams were gathered to find out who would be triumphant.
So overall, I would say fantastic job to all of you. So at this point, without further ado, the winner of 2014 Ranger Odyssey is Owen and Johan.
Johan Ritters and Owen de Waal will each drive away in a Ford Ranger, which is theirs to enjoy for a year.
I'm very glad for Owen. He came from nowhere, and I'm so glad for him. He really deserves it. We just hope to be good ambassadors for Ford this year.
The prize package includes 5,000 Rand a month in fuel, meaning they can enjoy their Ford Rangers to the full.
The 12 months that lie ahead, it's going to be a great experience. I can't wait for it to happen.
So where does Owen plan to travel over the next year?
I'm looking at going to the Drakensberg, doing the Grand Traverse, taking some 4x4 routes out there, some rock climbing, mountain climbing, and hopefully full of adventure and outdoor fun.
And there was one more prize to be given away, the Odyssey Spirit Prize, won by Chantal Berger.
The Spirit Prize just shows if you want it and if you don't want it. Every time you do something, you do it 110%. And everything you do, you smile about it and you just love it. You just love it.
Something no doubt that every contestant on this year's Ford Ranger Odyssey can relate to.